full party. So, I have the audio included in the broadcast. If you guys want to allow that, feel free. It'll help people watching to keep on the game. Looks like GM2 and GM3 were completely empty if you guys are trying to do quick plays. So definitely jump in with your crew if you know people that are playing, so that people will be able to jump on with you. Looks like GM1 was pretty thin as well. I was able to get in on a couple missions, but not much. I'm doing these contracts. Someone's unmuting themselves, muting and unmuting themselves. Anyway, I got this purple contract, legendary contract right now, and we just did a regular agent contract. I'm doing this content so that we can put it in private. It's the GM2 right now. We're going to do GM3 content afterwards. We do have a full party. Lyric and Shadow are regulars, and this other guy, Musk, he's a new guy here for me. So welcome. You guys are on the broadcast again, and feel free to chat about what kind of javelin you need while we're preparing. I mean, I threw on a couple of consumables. With GM2 it doesn't matter too much for me, but armor combo heat, just to kind of hover a little bit, get a little bit of extra armor, get some extra combo damage. I got the Ranger on right now, but I could throw on Colossus if you want some extra support. Other than that, all of my javelins do a lot of damage. Doesn't really matter what I run. So, feel free to kind of mention what you guys can do to help each other. I'm not really doing too much priming. I mean, I have a prime melee, but that's about it. So if you guys want extra help, like I can do like a priming or a detonating kind of a combo feel for you guys. Actually, nice. Yeah, I can do like a bunch of fire if you guys want, like the Colossus to run through and just prime for you guys. You guys can do detonations. That's one play style. Storm can run through and prime for everybody while you guys detonate off of that. Either one works really well. Sounds good? Yeah. Okay. As long as you have a detonator on your Ranger, you'll be able to succeed in GM2. That gives you like your melee prime and your shotgun prime for your weapon. But what's your gear look like? Are you using any detonators? Yeah, I love that one. I want to get my charges back there. Yeah. What about a like an Avengers boon or like recurring vengeance or something for your other gear, like another detonator? That way you can double detonate. Because there's going to be a lot of prime on the field, so we need extra detonators. I'm going to have my melee detonator, but I'm going to be doing extra prime for you guys. It looks like I got the Rallner's Blaze, Fire Prime. I have the Sentinel Vengeance, it's a grenade launcher, that's Acid Prime. I have my Flamethrower, which is a Gear Prime, and then the Flame Wall, which is another Flame Prime. So there's lots of primes that I can throw out. And then my melee is my detonator. So if I'm like in the fight, I'm doing massive, you know, wide range detonation, but really the rest of the primes are for you guys. Yeah. Yeah, and then you guys, you know, can change your gear on the fly. It's just, you know, if you want to try detonators and if that doesn't work for you guys, you know, just make yourself a combo artist, pretty much. So who do we have in here? I got Lyric's got a familiar voice. Yep. Shadow, how you doing? You said you're on your ult? Oh, okay. Were you the one saying you're on your ult? Oh, your ultimate. Oh, okay. So your battery damage. Okay. So you're like trying to get you're trying to get charges up, and you're trying to do just like extra combos to get your ult as much as possible. They had like an ultimate battery build that you could do, but I don't think it's as successful as when they originally posted that kind of a thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, there are some epics that you can, while you're getting masterworks, you can like complement, you can stack some of the effects. So if you have like, you know, a masterwork that's for your ultimate or a masterwork that's for your melee, right? You can do like the same kind of effect with your epics, and you can stack the damage, stack damage on the melee if that's what your masterwork is, or stack damage on the ultimate if that's what your masterwork is available. Does that make sense? Like you just go through the same definition in your epic that you can craft or that you pick up. You can acquire that item and equip it to buff whatever it is you're trying to build in your loadout until you get those masterworks or you get those legendaries. That's kind of the best way to get that extra damage in your loadout. So for example, like you got a universal component that's going to be like a melee damage, and you can craft the same kind of a universal component before it's a masterwork as an epic. If you don't have the crafting available with your challenges, it's just an item that you end up picking up. So if you had the universal melee epic and you had unlocked the masterwork melee, those would stack together. They're the same benefits on your loadout. You can stack the purples and oranges and yellows together when they're the same kind of matching, you know, description, but you can't stack masterworks, which are the oranges, with the yellows, because they're the same inscriptions, not inscriptions, they're the same detail on the component, so they don't allow you to stack those two together. But if you go backwards, or if you're at that wall where you haven't unlocked a lot of stuff, you can go backwards to your epics. I can craft epics and get extra melee damage and get extra armor by just stacking that with my components that are armor and melee. So it's just a little loadout tip. If you're at that wall where you don't have a lot of drops right now, you can still benefit your guy with your epics more than most people realize. Yeah. Avenger's Boon is a detonator. That mace I don't believe is. So I would rather use the boon for a melee buff as well as having a detonator available. The issue I have is that it's kind of a slower playstyle, like Mega Man. You got your like shot, boom 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 with your weapon real quick, and then you got your charge blast with your Avenger's Boon. You know what I mean? So like you're not really gonna have a fast shot with Avenger's Boon. You gotta prepare for that detonator. Charge it up, let it go. It's really good though. You got a melee buff right afterwards, and you're priming when you do melee. So like you're not going to want to use Avenger's Boon for a one-off on the shield. If it does knock the shield down in one hit, hell yeah, go for it. But then to get that detonator right after the shield is down, you know, you get that prime and then you're holding it again to get the detonate. So if you can knock the shields down in a different way, thunder damage or whatever that, you know, to go against that, whatever the resistance is, if you can knock that shield down first, then just rely on that detonator as that charge shot. I would throw the grenades out to knock shields down quicker because you could throw those out faster, especially if you have 100% charges, then you have more than one grenade to throw out, versus a slower recharge rate with your Avenger's Boon. You're going to shoot that out and then you got to wait again for the charge, as well as when you try to shoot it, you have to wait for it to charge up to shoot it. I'm actually running Ember's Lance just as an extra critical hit because I can aim at their, you know, weak points. Sweet. It's a bunch of extra lightning. A lot of guys are shields are weak on lightning. So nice. Yeah. If we have any issues with lightning elementalists or things like that, I definitely got Rallner's Blaze, the fire prime, that does really good on those shields. So like, if I what do you mean it's not a charge? It's a primer. I don't know what you mean by charge. Yes, it is. On the third hit, you do an acid prime. It does a critical hit fire attack, but on the third hit of the same target, bam, you got that prime, and then you got your detonation. And that gives you like the alternate effect. So you're doing lightning, you know, as a detonator, you can knock their shields down, and then you can do acid, you know, with the critical hit fire, you can knock shields down with that as well. Depending on the resistances, you got more options for yourself. Is the Venomous Blaze the same as Ponder Infinity, that same gear side? Because then you're running probably Seal of the Open Mind and Venomous Blaze at the same time. So you got 10,000 suns. So you're going to end up having 10,000 suns if you really want a detonator, or you can just keep primes. Other people can detonate. You're going to rely more on your melee as a detonator, if you can handle that. Black Ice is perfect. That's a really good one. Now you're mixing lightning damage, or wait, you're mixing acid damage, fire damage, and you got ice. So that'll reset primes. Cool. If you guys could add the Beckoning Anthem players community, it's the one that I run myself, and you can link up with me pretty quick, but there's a lot of other people that are kind of like in endgame that are on that community, and it helps for them to see you, it helps for you to kind of show that community is popping, and then we'll get more people in there that are kind of greenhorns, and we can train them up as we need. It's at a community, it's called Beckoning, it's actually my band's name. Feel free to add that, and then I can get you guys in there. I have one moderator on there, so we kind of keep it clean and relevant to the games that are listed on there. There's two other games that I advertise on there, Monster Hunter World and For Honor, because there's co-op aspect to them, and I think it kind of meshes well with Anthem players as well, if you have that mindset. Good luck, guys. Hope you get a legendary. The goal of this match, I don't know if you guys can still hear me in here, but the broadcast will. The goal of this matchup... Ooh, is that right? Only audio is being broadcast. Weird. That sucks for the broadcast, but that would make sense why we have no viewers. So... my hope is that we got GM2 under our belt here as a squad. Hate talking on a loading screen. I don't know if we're talking to each other or not. I'll wait. Alright, alright, alright. It always seems like there's silence on those loading screens and we can't hear each other. So, we got this squad here on a GM2. My goal is to get us in a GM3 mission. That can be private, so if anybody gets knocked out, we can just get those invites to get back in.
On my way.
I don't know if you guys are up for a GM3, but we can do like an agent mission or an agent contract that are shorter, or a legendary contract, and those are all able to be private. And legendary contracts, I think, are a little tougher, a little longer. But good luck, guys. I hope you get a legendary. Ladies and gentlemen. Right. Appreciate you guys. This is GM2. It's going to be scaled a little bit harder than what we were just doing on GM1. You're going to need to get those combos out. Oh, son of a... I had that Colossus with all those primes in my loadout. I am running a Ranger with my other loadout. So somehow that did not go through with all that prepping we just did. That's pretty messed up. But, no worries. I got plenty of primes on my Ranger. I can throw that on in the forge real quick. Actually, since there's no enemies right here, I'll do that real quick. Get you guys some primes. That's fucked up. So, like, Interceptor is my last Javelin that I wanted to gear up. And, I'm digging them, but I don't have enough slots in my bag to have 4 Javelin at full legendary capacity. So, what I would say is, like, he's the hardest one for me to gear up. Like, now that they've changed everything.
I understand.
There seems to be a big wall when you're, like, at all those epics and you're looking for those masterworks to drop. If you don't have a good squad or crew running with you, you might end up feeling like the game's running a little stale. But don't fret. Keep running GM1s as long as you can get those combos down. Like, their health bars don't really last for a lot of combos. A few more seconds. I'm almost done with this loadout here. So prime, and I don't know if I'm running elemental ops. I don't think so. Need a different prime here. What the fuck am I using for a prime? Could go Siegebreaker, I guess. Or I could throw elemental ops and just do the acid prime. Bump me down a little bit. Let's take that emergency power off and give you guys acid prime. Do emergency ops. And with that, I should be done. On my way. Unless someone else can get over that. Alright, here we go. 774. Here we go. So I should be coming with a lot of acid primes. I got fire prime. I see you, I see you. I'll get you one at a time. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, it was just behind you, so I had to take a second to get up there after that forge. There's a lot of brutes here, huh? If I'm not doing detonators, I'm going to be relying on my ultimate to do a lot of mass damage here. To just look out for those icons. I don't have the melee for a detonator with the Colossus. This is just all brutes. Oh, fragments recovered, guys. That means you're going to have infinite enemies unless you head on that mission. I'm going to go head on the icons.
Another step completed.
Ooh, I'm going heavy on damage.
That is sufficient. I think we have enough.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that soften blows component, the extra 5 seconds of resistance, probably would have went down just as quick. I don't know if you guys are running that component at all.
What are we up to today?
Even a Masterwork soften blows will go a long way. It's one of those universal components that you can throw on any loadout and kind of get that extra help. I would say GM2 is probably our sweet spot unless we get like a really good meshing synergy, and then we might be able to bump into some GM3 content. It was just a little bit worrying to see 3 people go down real quick with all those brutes. It just means you guys gotta focus on one enemy at a time. If it was GM3, you gotta do like 3 or 4 people on an enemy. You really have to work on synergy with combos. But that's like try-hard content. There isn't really a big benefit to be on GM3 other than understanding the game. If you're like really hardcore into understanding games, that's kind of where GM3 becomes a good playground.
Well, with the summoner, all right.
Yeah, with that said, GM1 is really all you need for Masterworks and everything else you can unlock.
This is a problem. You must find the fragment.
Just takes a little bit longer. You gotta run more games in quantity.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a slower priming process for me. I can prime individually. Can't do the mass primes like the Colossus can. I got the fire grenade, that's about the most of it. I got 3 of them though. So after that fire I gotta like switch it up to acid or something to get the fire again. Or else you guys have to switch it up to something else so we can get fire again. Hi, baby. Now, it's kind of concerning, like, there was a bunch of things that weren't working on the PlayStation. The chat, the music, Spotify. Like, I'm trying to do broadcasting just to get some kind of extra views on Anthem at the moment. Help out, you know, our community and some players, but looks like we don't have any actual video for the stream. It's kind of shitty. I don't know if that's part of these technical difficulties we got going on, or if that's a personal issue with my connection. It's a bummer.
Quickly done. That should be enough.
It just shows like the mic icon, so I'm assuming that means the broadcast is not showing video.
I don't seem to be.
I don't know how to change that. What's that?
I'll see what I can do.
One more time, your masterwork is what? What is the masterwork? Yeah, I mean, you could just say which one it is. So you're talking about tip of the spear, right? Masterwork? Or something else? You said it gives like armor, like healing to you and your teammates, right? So I believe that's tip of the spear you're talking about for Ranger. So maybe like you noticed a difference before some updates, if you had that long enough? Or did you just get it and you feel like it's not working? Sorry, repeat that? Oh, so like just in this same game, like it was glitching out on you? Yeah, I've noticed a lot of inconsistencies with like primes latching onto enemies, you know, components working consistently. If you're looking at your gear as a storm, certain gears wouldn't work and then you'd land and then they would start working again. They were trying to address some of those things, but yeah, sometimes that'll happen with these loadouts. Seems like they'll go forward in a couple steps and then go backwards 3 steps when they do these updates. And we're the brunt of it. Brunt?
That's the
Or the
first.
blunt of it?
Exciting.
I'm gonna stop talking now. It did make sense.
Trying to play a skill against
Yes, we do. How about we go with lunch? Because we had breakfast kind of late, so 3:22 is like kind of a late lunch. You know, if we do lunch at 12 or something normally, or 1. What would you think? Feeling like you're hungry?
Switching the beacons back on.
Like more than a snack? Because I feel like I'm hungry more than a snack. I was waiting for you girls. Okay, so when are you actually going to say, I want to eat some kind of food now? You know? Gotta be able to. Good advice. Yeah, these Titans, they kind of do those waves. Those are a little harder to dodge if you don't just fly straight up. And then those balls, you just kind of dodge as you see it coming at you. I think those are the two different styles of attacks they got. Unless you're taking that like straight beam to the face, then you just kind of don't stand in front of them. Yeah. I think those are the 3 main attacks they do.
Yes, that should be enough.
Who's hitting me right now? Is there a storm somewhere? I was getting like critical hits. Yeah, I just got hit right now doing the fragment or whatever, and I don't see. Oh, the storm's way over there. Okay, or not storm, Titan's over there. I was getting hit through everything. I didn't notice we had 3 Titans going on at one time. That's why our guys are going down. They're getting hit by 3 different directions. It's not enough to know the 3 different attacks. Yeah, I don't have. Even if I have eyes in the back of my head, I don't have 3 sets of eyes. It's kind of difficult to deal with. I see, says the blind man.
Always glad to see you survive a fight like that. I'm calling that finished. Well done.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of extra damage right there.
Did today so much. Thank you.
Alright. So, like you see, the GM2 is kind of a short mission with these agent contracts and agent missions. Disaster Protocol, that's a legendary contract. Still can make it private, but it's going to be a little bit longer than those other agent choices we can do on private. My main concern is, you know, matchmaking is going to kick in if you guys get kicked out, but it seems like our player base is not in a lot of the endgame content currently. There's still a lot of greenhorns in here. You get a feel for it if you go to Launch Bay and you look at who's in the session. You might notice that you're like the highest power level there. You get to see who's actually still playing right now. I don't know if you guys heard all that or if it was cutting in and out. If you go to Launch Bay, yeah, if you go to Launch Bay and like you kind of get a feel for the player base we have, you might notice in Launch Bay you're like the highest power level, and there's a lot of greenhorns, like a lot of new, fresh players in the game right now. So matchmaking isn't going to give you like a full crew in GM 1, 2, or 3. And pickings to get you guys in games. Yeah, I guess I'm going to kill this broadcast again. I did two short videos so far, but it's still showing the camera being blacked out. So I'm concerned that I really have no visual for the broadcast. You know, just if it's doing something for the community,